Welcome to this special meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners today. This meeting will be followed by a briefing session for March 4th of 2021. We will begin our meeting with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Tanya McDaniel. Please stand if you can. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the
to the
republic
republic
which stands,
stands,
one
one
nation.
nation, under God, indivisible, liberty.
I don't know if most of you noticed it, but the good Lord was with us. He repeated everything we said. So. This is going to be somewhat unusual, but we're doing something unusual to give approval or denial on bonds, and I think all of us are of one mind, so let's begin. The first item on the agenda is a public hearing on 5 proposed bond orders. Each bond order requires a separate public hearing. First, the first public hearing on the order today is an order authorizing the issuance not to exceed $23,000 in general obligation funding bonds for the county of Forsyth, North Carolina. First speaker on this particular issue will be Lee Plunkett, who is Assistant Chief Financial Officer for Forsyth County. Lee?
Good afternoon again.
Yes, sir.
Yes, these bond orders just provide for the approval from you all in order to sell the bonds, and these will be the refunding bonds that will refund the 2004A, B, and 2007B variable rate debt.
Okay, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just one clarification before you
Yes.
call the question. It just a few more zeros. It's actually $23 million in general obligation
Let's
bonds.
take a look here.
Just wanted to make sure that was in the record. So,
That's exactly right. Before we go any further, I missed it by a little. Not 23,000, $23 million. Are we all understand? Do we? No questions, Mrs. Wisenhunt? Okay. All right. Following the new requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter until 4 p.m., February 26th, 2021. If you wish to submit a comment, please call the number I'm about to announce, 336-703-2020. 336-703-2020. The second public hearing is a bond order authorizing issuance not to exceed $8,500,000 in general obligation school bonds for Forsyth County, North Carolina. We will review that, but first, if there's any conversation on the first item that involves $23 million, do I hear a motion to pass or to deny?
We're not voting.
We're not voting?
We're not voting today. This is a public hearing.
Oh, that sounds very good. Makes me a happy camper. We will not have a public hearing. I would rather vote. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Then we'll move right along on the $8,500,000 general obligation bond. And Lee Plunkett, Assistant Chief Financial Officer, you can explain this one. You're on.
Yes, this is $8.5 million for the schools, and this is in line with the capital maintenance projects that they have requested and that we provide funding for every other year. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Following the requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter until 4 p.m. February 26, 2021. If you wish to submit a comment, call this number, 336-703-2020, for directions. Third public hearing is on bond order authorizing the issuance not to exceed $2,300,000 in general obligation community college fund bonds for the county of Forsyth. Speaker is Lee Plunkett, Assistant Chief Financial Officer. If you will please review this particular item.
Yes, this bond order is for community college capital maintenance program. Again, every other year, a program that we provide funding for so they can complete their projects.
Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Following the requirements of Session Law 2023, the board will continue to receive public comment until 4 p.m. February 26th. And if you wish to submit a comment on this, please call 336-703-2020 for directions. The fourth public hearing is on bond order authorizing the issuance not to exceed $2 million in general obligation public facilities bonds for the county of Forsyth, North Carolina. Lee Plunkett, Assistant Chief Financial Officer, will explain this item. Mr. Plunkett.
Yes, these bonds are for our own purpose that the General Services Department manages, and so any projects that they deem worthy that would help the county out. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Following requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter until 4 p.m. on February 26, 2021. If you wish to submit a comment, please call this number, 336-703-2020, for directions. The fifth public hearing is on bond order authorizing the issuance not to exceed $2 million in general obligation parks and recreation bonds for the county of Forsyth. Lee Plunkett, Assistant Chief Financial Officer, if you will.
Yes, this final bond order is for parks and recreation projects. Again, as we've done every other year, funding for those smaller projects. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, have you received any comments in favor or in opposition to this matter?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Following the requirements of Session Law 2020-3, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter until 4 p.m. February 26, 2021. If you wish to submit a comment, please call this number, 336-703-2020, for directions. The 5 proposed bonds will be voted on during a special meeting scheduled for Monday, May 1st, 2021 at 2 p.m. And as a reminder, the board will continue to receive public comment on this matter and all of these matters that we've talked about until 4 p.m. on February 26th. If you wish to comment, please call this number, 336-703-2020, for directions. This has been a public hearing, and I thank our attorney very much because the only thing we wanted to do was have a public hearing so we can vote on it this coming Monday.
Did you say
Mr. Chairman.
May or March?
I think you want to say March 1st, Mr. Chairman, instead of May
March
1st.
March 1st.
March 1st.
You're right. It is March 1st. I'm so glad you're here. We're doing very well here to start things out. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
A motion to adjourn by Commissioners Martin and Ted Kaplan, second by Commissioner Fleming Elamine and Tanya McDaniel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned.